here today to celebrate the impact of Homestretch has had on families and to ensure the work continues. So I thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us here today. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here. So I wanted to take a moment, because of your support and the support of many others, there's a lot to celebrate with Homestretch. Just a couple things. 117 family members have a home today because of Homestretch. 20,892 nights of housing were provided this past year. And 77 children, most importantly, had a stable place to call home. I don't know about you, but I'm extremely proud to be part of and associated with an organization like Homestretch, aren't you? So let's give it up for Homestretch for those statistics. That's awesome. So in the few minutes that I have with you today, I want to share with you some stories of our Homestretch families. I also want to share with you my experience as a volunteer with Homestretch for the last year. And last but not least, I want to challenge us. We're doing a lot, but I think we can do more to help our community. So I don't know about you, but I grew up in the Midwest, and specifically a place called Waterloo, Iowa. And I know what you're thinking. You said, is that the potato state? It's not. It's the corn state. I get that all the time. But my family, I grew up in a middle-class family. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was a professional as a mechanical engineer at John Deere. So needless to say, I didn't grow up seeing a lot of homelessness up close and personal. In fact, a lot of my images of what homelessness was and what it was the result of is what I saw on TV, or maybe when the few times I went to a big city, I may have encountered some of that. So I bought into a lot of the myths of why people were homeless. Things like people are homeless because they choose to be, right? We all know that's not true. The reason they're homeless is because they're lazy. They don't choose to work. They don't want to work, right? Again, we know those myths are not true. And you may have a similar story to me. And then as an adult, I've always lived in suburbia, in suburban neighborhoods. So again, not faced every single day with homelessness. But if we're not careful, because we live in a place like North Fulton, it's easy to become desensitized, lose some of our compassion for some of the key issues in our community. So I found some statistics. While they're great, they actually help with this desensitization sometimes. So according to the U.S. Census, the average household income in Johns Creek is $143,000, with 21% of the households earning over $200,000. In Alpharetta, it's $134,000, with about 19% earning over $200,000. And in Roswell, where I live, the average income is $120,000, with 16.5% of the households making over $200,000. So statistics like these sometimes make it hard to comprehend that we have a homeless problem right here in this community. But despite these income levels, there's a growing number of homeless working families in North Fulton. I don't know about you, but I did not know that prior to engaging with Homestretch. So in fact, suburban homelessness has increased 159% since the year 2000. And the reasons, number one, increased rent costs. Number two, reduction in affordable housing. Number three, family crisis. And number four, lack of budgeting, financial management, and life skills. So notice that I didn't say choice or laziness were not the issues. And so that does not represent our Homestretch families either. So I want to take a moment to personalize the families served at Homestretch by sharing the stories, because sometimes we just don't understand. So I want you to imagine for a minute. Close your eyes if that's how you imagine, but I want you to imagine if these things took place in your life. So imagine you're the head of a household and your mother passes. There's not adequate insurance to cover the cost of the funeral, so you have to step up to cover it. So you help pay for the funeral, and as a result, you get behind on your rent. And as a result, you find yourself evicted and nonetheless homeless. Imagine you had a knee surgery and you had to miss 2 weeks of work because you didn't have paid time off. And because of that, again, you got behind on your rent, you got evicted, and you found your place in a place of homelessness. Imagine an unexpected divorce and custody battle. You deplete all of your savings in legal fees to fight for your children. Again, it sets you back. You lose your apartment you're again faced with homelessness. Imagine you left a domestic violence situation with nothing but the clothes on your back because you had to leave everything behind to save your life. You find yourself homeless and nowhere to go. Imagine life is going good. You're excited because you got a new job and you're moving to Georgia. But during the relocation, your car catches fire and you lose everything, including the job you were coming to relocate for. So where do you end up? In a place of homelessness. Imagine you can't afford childcare, so when your child is home, you have to choose between taking care of your child and going to the job. Again, you miss work, you get behind, you're evicted, you find your place in this space of homelessness. Imagine a grant-funded job abruptly ends after 8 months, and you lose your job. And during your job search, you get evicted, and suddenly you're homeless. Imagine you have a job, but you're underemployed. You just can't make ends meet. You struggle month to month, you get behind, and again, you find your place in this place of homelessness. So ladies and gentlemen, this represents the working homeless in North Fulton County. Now, the stories I just shared weren't stories of the homeless. I submit to you they were stories of life, which means that at any given time, it could happen to any one of us in this room. Some catastrophic event can wipe everything out that we've ever worked for. So let's not forget that we can also end up in one of these places. So my hope is that hearing the stories increases your compassion and erases any myths you may have had about the homeless. I know it did for me, and that's why I got involved in Homestretch as a budget mentor about a year ago. So I get the opportunity to work up close and personal with one of the families, get the chance to walk alongside of them on their financial journey. We work together on the budgets, we review spending habits, we discuss options to reduce the budget, and all that is great. But the best part is I've had the opportunity to be part of restoring hope, restoring belief that this situation won't last forever. I've watched emotional healing taking place and an attitude of empowerment restore. My family and I have been blessed because they've become an extension of our family. We've eaten some dinners together, we've supported the kids' performances at school, and there's nothing more rewarding than seeing these lives transform by giving them just a little bit of time, talent, and sometimes money. Because my church, Eagles Nest, who's represented here today, said yes to this organization, I said yes to this organization. This family's lives that we work with will be forever changed. And so I received a text in December that I will cherish, forever, and I asked permission to share it here with you today. And it reads, "Thanks is never enough when I really try to think of what to say. I do know that God sent you and your family to us, and I'm just grateful beyond words. You have gone above and beyond for us, and I just want to say that you're appreciated more than you'll ever know." And those words are just priceless. So all of this is possible because of the systems, the processes, the programs that Homestretch has put in place, and they are outstanding. The staff, if you've had the chance to work with any of them, have a heart to serve and genuinely care about the families they're working with. The volunteers are phenomenal and are completely dedicated. So we have to continue to support the organization in a bigger way. Why? Because the impact of these families is priceless. But there's a price to deliver the mission to guide homeless families towards permanent housing and lasting stability. And that's why we're here today. So let me first thank you for your generous support of the silent auction, of the 50-50, of the wine pool. But I want to challenge us to do just a little more. So for example, we have a large room of people here today. If everyone in this room gave over and beyond what you've already been generous enough to do, just say it was $25. This keeps food in the pantry full at Homestretch. If everybody in this room gave an extra $50, that provides another academic tutor for one of our homeless children. If everybody in this room gave an extra $100, It provides grocery for 1 week when a family has a loss of work. An extra $250 helps offset an emergency like a car repair or a medical bill. So there's a table in the back that has balloons on it, and I think you have some envelopes on your table as well. I truly, truly, truly would love for you to consider giving another 25, another 50, another 100, or another 250 to support the great cause of Homestretch. Can we do that? Can we do that? Will you do that? I really, really, really hope you will. And again, I thank you for your generosity, and I thank you in advance for your extra donation. And in closing, I want to close with this poem that I thought was very befitting for this occasion. It's by John Wesley, and it says, "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can." Thank you.